All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I love ya. Good morning. I don't know what I'm doing now. Facebook still says the live video is starting. All right. Well, Instagram is working there. Let me move this down. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Erica. How are you? I'm just getting situated. I gotta make sure that I'm live on the Facebook. Oh, you guys, forgive me for being a little late. It is the start of my birthday weekend. I'm milking this for all it's worth. I've been milking it all week. I'm still milking it. My lighting is weird. We're going with it. One of my best friends and her wife just landed in Los Angeles to celebrate my birthday. Am I live here on? No. All right, I got to reload Facebook here. So bear with me. Erica, you got a photo shoot today? That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, why is it not letting me? You guys, it's not letting me go live on Facebook. I am taking pictures of two people for their birthday. Oh, I love it. You want to come to my party tomorrow and take photos with me? All right, you guys, I need to start over on Facebook. You're going to have to bear with me for a hot second. But as you know, hello, I'm Jody Bentley. I go live on the first and third Fridays of every month to answer any and all questions you do have about your acting business. I am the CEO of Actor Insider. I am the CEO of the Actor's Office. I am someone who cannot getting live on my Facebook group. Why are things? Erica says, sure, what time? The funny thing is, I don't even know where my party's at because my husband set out the invitation and we rented a space and I don't know where it is. So yesterday I was like, you need to tell me where to go. That would be pretty funny. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try one more time to go live here. We are late today. Facebook is not having me. Hey, Chase. Okay, great. Here we are. We're live now. Woo! All right, everybody. There we are. Okay, let me just double check. Let me refresh on this computer. All the computers and the screen. Okay, I'm live. Okay, great. Well, that was a thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our coffee and coaching hour. Hi, I'm Jody Bentley. I am an actor. I am CEO of Actor Insider and the Actor's Office. I go live on the first and third Fridays of every month to answer any and all questions that you do have about your acting business. I'm live here on my Instagram at Actor Insider. I am live on YouTube somewhere. Let me get that screen back up. Live on YouTube at Actor Insider. And I'm live in my Facebook group, The Actors Workspace. I feel like I need to rename my Facebook group. What do you guys think? What do you think? I named it The Actors Workspace before I had my business name because before I was just Jody Bentley Career Coach. Let me know. Should I name it all Actor Insider? Cool. Let me know. I would love to know your thoughts. Let's see. Nancy, hi. Let's see. Mitchell, nice to see you. Darren, nice to see you. Okay. Erica says, there have been times I did not know where I was going until 20, 30 minutes before I was going there. This is why I've started making sure I look. Yes, right? I know. And I'm like a planner. And my husband's planned this party. I'm not nervous. No, I take that back. I trust him, but he's not a planner. You know what I mean? I'm like detail oriented. Could you guys guess? Like everything. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited for my party. Okay. Let me look here. Okay, we are all good. All right. So this is the time where you ask me any questions you have about your acting business, the state of the industry, my own career, myself. I'm an open book, whatever you want to ask. This is what I do. We have our coffee and coaching hour while I drink my green tea and I get to chat with you until my friends arrive. They just landed at LAX. All right, let's see. Nancy says hi. All right. So what questions do you have for me? We are moving into October is what it feels like. We are. It's a couple weeks away. Oh, we have one more quarter of the year, technically. So let me ask how you're feeling. First of all, how are you feeling about the state of the industry right now? I mean, we got a lot of things going on, right? In our world, in everything. But how are you feeling about the state of the industry right now? Let me know that. Because we got one more quarter of this year. I cannot believe how fast this year has gone. It's kind of insane. And I have to say, most of the summer was pretty darn slow for me. And then I would say in the past like 3 weeks, I've had like 10 auditions. I just got another one that's a Zoom audition for an indie film for next week. So I feel like the industry is picking up. And those were mainly TV, on camera, film, one voiceover, one commercial. So yeah, I do feel like things are picking up. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if you think, hi, Donnie, how things are feeling for you. Mitchell says, I've just booked a film role after the director saw me in another project. That is awesome. What's the best way to keep the momentum going? So it's marketing, right? At this point, Mitchell, it's definitely marketing. So using your social media platform to announce the role, to give a shout out to the director. I always come from the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the place. I come from the place that marketing isn't about you. Marketing is always about other people. So I get to speak the words of this writer. I get to, I'm working with this director. It will be incredible, right? Giving shout outs to other people. So I think this is a time for you to start building that momentum. Figuring out a social media campaign for yourself. If you have a newsletter, figuring out when you're announcing things, how you're announcing things. If you have agent or manager on your team, this is the time to let them know it just happened. They could actually use that in pitch emails. So it's really figuring out what your marketing strategy is around this. And we know when we book stuff, there's multiple phases of marketing, right? So it's like the I booked it phase, right? We can't say too much about the project. We're just planting seeds, or maybe teasing a couple things. And then you get to take all the stuff on set. And maybe you can do some stuff when you're on set. But again, we got to be careful what we post, right? We got to follow the rules of production. And then it's when the project is out. Then we get to promote there. So we kind of have like 3 different phases of promotion. So I would just start thinking about what's your promotional phase right now. I know I'm not always great at this, and I get to be really intentional with it, is when I'm on set taking photos. So I would start thinking about or planning, hey, I definitely want to get one in the makeup chair. I definitely want to get one in my trailer. I definitely want to get a picture with the director, right? Making sure that you get those things, because when we're on set and we're working, I don't think about that stuff. And I get to be better at that, of sort of trying to compartmentalize that. So then you have all the assets ready to go for later. So, momentum going, it's keeping the momentum going now with the announcement of the booking, bringing your team on board, reaching out to casting directors who letting them know you booked something, but also it's about the long-term momentum plan and the long-term marketing plan that's built in with that. Still sans agent. That's okay. This could be a great time to leverage your booking to get an agent. When I was looking for a new manager, and I wrote a whole thing about this. I don't know if any of you have read it, that my manager had dropped me after 9 years. And it was devastating, you guys, devastating. But she was really paring down to about 10 people. And I wasn't one of her big money makers. I get it. But it was devastating. But thankfully, the last audition she sent me on, I booked, which felt really good. Felt really good. So I used that as leverage to get another manager. Within 3 weeks, I had another manager. So I would really use this to build out an agent campaign. And Mitchell, that's something that I do with clients in the Actors Think Tank. So you might want to look at that. But that is definitely something I could help you with. But I would use this to leverage getting an agent and or manager for Shoresies. All right. Hi, Tony. Hi. Happy birthday, Eve. Thank you, Tony. Yes, my birthday's tomorrow, you guys. If I haven't said it already, I've already been announcing it all week. I'm going to Sedona next week. I'm making it all about the birthday. So, yes, thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. I was going to say something else about that. Oh, so you guys, speaking of birthday, I just did a 48-hour birthday sale on every single one of my products for 50% off. not my mastermind group. That's a very high level group. Every other program, my coaching, the Actors Think Tank, Mitchell, everything was 50% off. However, it ended at 9 a.m. today because it was only 48 hours. But for any of you watching right now, watching live, if you still want to join the Actors Think Tank, that was for the yearly subscription. You can get that for 50% off. If you want a coaching session with me, 50% off. If you want my Actors Branding System, 50% off. Any of my other digital products. If you are interested in that, email Sophia right now. She's my assistant, and she will make sure you get whatever you want. How about that? But only until I end today. So if you're watching live, and this will only be until I end today at 11 o'clock, but email Sophia. You can email support@actor-insider.com, actor-insider.com, support at, and let Sophia know you're watching me live. And I said you can get whatever you wanted. And then she will send you the link and give you a code. All right, there we go. Let me see. We got some questions going on here. Donnie said, that's amazing that you booked it. And then if I were her, I would have been like, I know. That's how I felt. I felt really powerful leaving that relationship. Tony says, be a self-promo whore and love that. Always tag your team. Yes, exactly, Tony. Always tag your team. So important to give shout outs to the team. So I know, Mitchell, you're not with an agent at the moment. When you do get that agent, always tag them. So whenever I book something or something, I always just give a shout out to my team. I say, thank you so much for your belief in me. Thank you for pitching me, working hard, like all the things, I think it's so important because it's not a go it alone thing. Right. So yeah, thanks, Tony, for that reminder there. Donnie says, happy birthday. Oh, thank you, Donnie. Yes. Support@actor-insider.com. Yes. You got that there, Donnie. Okay, let me go back to Instagram. I see some stuff here. Erica has a question. I need 2 acting scenes for my most castable characters. I'm just going to take a sip of tea. Why am I drinking hot tea when I'm sweating? Where or what type of scenes should I look for in regards to the kinds of clips I would send to agents? I want a theatrical agent. So, Erica, for me, this always goes back to your branding. So, I believe you're in the Actors Think Tank. Refresh my memory. I'm forgetting who's in what, but that's why I help clients build what I call their branding chart. So what we do through all of my branding exercises is we really narrow down on your branding themes. We figure out your branding chart. And this is in both the Actors Think Tank and the Actors Branding System. Again, 50% off if you email Sophia at support@actor-insider.com. So I help you build your themes. We build your branding chart, and your branding chart are the overall essences of you. And it's a whole chart of all of your essences categorized. So they're clear and you understand what they are. Not just, oh, Jody, I play powerful and bubbly in this. Not enough. So we have build your branding chart. So Erica, if you've built that branding chart, go there. Every marketing tool you're going to build is an extension of your chart. So when you look at your chart, you can go, okay, which 2 essences do I really want to pump up, of here? Do I want to get a clip that represents this essence? I want a scene that represents this essence. If you're going after a theatrical agent, I would definitely show them that you can do multiple genre. Genre is not a brand. Your essence will be alive and well in whatever brand that you have. But I would go back to your branding chart and look there. So when you say where or what types of scenes should I look for, you want to start with who you are. What is your essence? What are you putting out in the world? I don't want you to think about, I need a professional lawyer scene, or I need my girl next door scene. Not enough, not clear enough, not specific enough. Who are you as a professional? Who are you as girl next door? What essences do you have? So we always want to go back to that chart and then really find, where does that fit? Right? What scenes would that fit into? So then you got to do some research. What shows am I right for? Right? I built a bunch of chat GPT prompts for all of this stuff to make life easier for the people in my courses. Right? To then being able to research, this is what I'm going after. what shows, what roles, what this. And then we can find those scenes and do them. Maybe you write your own scene. Maybe you go to some plays, right? It's always good to know what playwrights sound really great coming out of your mouth, right? You can go to some plays and pull some scenes from plays. Plays are a little bit more dense. We might want to trim it down if you're going to be doing a scene for a theatrical agent, but that's also a possibility. I've had multiple clients do that as well. But Erica, for me, it always starts back with the brand. All right. So many people are like, I need a monologue. I need a scene. What should I do? Wrong question. You're just asking the wrong question. The question is, who am I? What stories do I put out in the world? Excuse me. What themes do I want to tell? What essences of me do I want people to know? What do I want to book? And then find the material there. It just always reminds me. Did you guys watch True Detective, the season with Jodie Foster? She would always say, I love, first of all, it's such a great show. But there was always moments where she'd be talking to the other people, other detectives or whatever, cops, detectives. And they would be talking about the case. And she's like, she always would say, you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong question. And I thought that was so astute. And I really feel like that's what actors do. We ask the wrong question. The question isn't, how do I get an agent? How do I find scenes? The question is, who am I? How can I position myself to land the agent that I want? What are the sales tools that I need to get to land said agent? What are the materials I need to put myself out in the world so people get me like that? It all starts with you. It all starts with you. Erica, let me know if you have a follow-up question to that. Mitchell said, thank you. This is great. Yep, saving up. Erica said, happy birthday. Yes, get paid for that project, Mitchell. Okay, great. So yeah, I think I answered that. Erica, you are in the Actors Think Tank. Yeah, so go to step 4 in the Actors Think Tank, Erica. I know you were in there. Build that branding chart. That's going to help you make every single marketing decision that you need to make. And then you can start to look at, how we categorize it, body, mind, spirit. You want to lean into body and mind. Lean into body and mind for that. Okay. Hi, Lori. Hello. I think you always say that. Where do I find the branding chart again? It's like step 4, lesson 8 or 9. I'm forgetting. But there's like 12 lessons in the branding, you guys. There's so much for me that goes into for you to understand your brand, for then the industry to get it like that. I think all these shortcuts of, I'm Jessica Chastain meets Kate Walsh. Okay, cool. And that's good to know. It's good to know when you're pitching, right? When you're sitting across from an agent to say, where do you fit? You want to have some prototypes in mind, but your brand is so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. And I really feel like the work that I do with branding lets you take ownership of it in a holistic way that really empowers you, gives you control over this career that you are pursuing, and really allows for you to have longevity and growth, not like an instant Band-Aid to like move the needle today, which is not going to move the needle in the long run, if you get what I mean. Hey, Katie. Katie's there on the YouTube. All right. Erica says, thank you. Hi. Hi. Oh, gosh, it's so hard to read people's names. Romero. Hi, Romero. Hi, Sing. Got lots of people joining there. Okay. All right, guys, what other questions do you have for me? Hello. We are doing this today. For those of you just tuning in, hi, I'm Jody Bentley. I'm here answering all questions you have about your acting career, your acting business. It is my birthday tomorrow, and I just did a 48-hour birthday sale, which ended at 9 a.m. this morning. But for any of you watching live on YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook group, if you email my assistant at support@actor-insider.com, support@actor-insider.com, you can get anything that you want. We sold out of the Actors Branding System and my coaching, but I'm opening it all up for the next 30 minutes. So if you want 50% off any of my programs or coaching with me, now is the time to do it. Email Sophia and she will get you hooked up. That's only for those of you who are here live with me today on the day before my birthday. All right, what questions you got? What do we got? Yes, Erica says it's about the long game and strategy. For sure. It's always about the long game. Um, there are periods when we book a lot, and then there are periods when it's slow. And then there are periods when we want to quit. And then there are periods when we're on top of the world, right? Like this career is a roller coaster, and it's just knowing that we're in it for the long haul, and I think for me that helps keep my mindset straight. If we're constantly putting our value in the booking, that's hard. That's hard. If we're constantly putting our value in whether you have an agent or not, if we're constantly putting our value in the outside validation, it's like you get to understand who you are and what you want and where you're going and know that you're taking the action to move the needle, right? Not just the busy work action, but you're taking the I don't want to say right action because there's so many right actions, right? There's no linear way to do this career. That you're taking action, that you are in action. Um, I think that's what matters. Things will come from that, right? And it's about having that belief and trust in yourself and knowledge of self uh, to be able to move forward on this roller coaster without always feeling like we're on a roller coaster. Really. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Eugene. Hey, Sierra. All right. I think I had a question here. Donnie. Let's see. Ooh, lots of things. Donnie says, do you find the industry is still accepting of self-tape scenes that go along with our headshot castable types in lieu of actual footage? Long story as to why I stopped doing that. A coach, I won't call them out, a couple years ago said, Donnie, I never want to see you in front of a blue screen again. But I just haven't been booking yet, and I need some of my characters represented. So isn't it so I hate it. All right, we're getting truthful. There's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of acting coaches. There's a lot of career coaches. I'm one career coach. Tony Robinette, I know, is a career coach. We got lots of coaches out there. And I think it's so important to be discerning when a coach gives you information. I pride myself on not living in the always and never place, I have systems and proven systems that work, and I stand by those systems. And there's always ways to tweak and judge and make it work for people, right? If you're uncomfortable doing a certain thing or you don't want to reach out that way, let's figure it out, right? I'm never like, no, this is the way. So I always talk like that. So it just pisses me off sometimes when, like Donnie, what you just said, when they're like, I never want to see you there again. And maybe they said it jokingly, maybe, in jest, but it's so interesting how those things stay with us. And I will say, Donnie, there are some casting directors who don't want to see self-tape clips. And then on the flip side of that, there's a ton that want to see your self-tape clips. I've gotten auditions from self-tape clips because I didn't have a piece that showed a role that I could do. So, I say throw that out. I know that's like in the back of your head. Throw that out. Get yourself out there. Show the industry what you can do. If they're not going to watch a self tape, so what? You can't control that. But the people that will watch the self tape, they're your people. And they're the ones who probably will freaking book you. So this just goes for anything, even anything I say. Challenge your coaches. Don't be mean about it, but challenge your coaches and go, well, why? Why do you think that way? But what about the people that do want to watch that? Okay, I will do this, but also about this. Like, I think it's so important to take ownership of your career and have autonomy over your career. And that's one thing that I want to instill in my clients and in the actors that work with me, and for all of you who show up to these coffee and coaching hours, is how can you, yes, we need mentors. We need guidance. I have mentors. I have guidance. I know Tony probably has mentors. Tony has guidance, right? It's so important to have those people, but it's also important for you to discern what makes sense for you. Because just because that one person said that one thing doesn't make it gold or make it truth. Look, I've been a career coach since 2008. I've been doing this for 17 goddamn years. I've seen what works. I've seen what doesn't. I've morphed systems in things that I've had, right? I'm always exploring new ways of doing things. 5 years ago, I was all about postcards and sending postcards. I haven't sent a freaking postcard in 5 years. Why? Because the industry has changed. So I think it's so important not to take information as gold, but to take like proven replicable business systems and go, I get this. I understand this, but this doesn't sit right. How can we change that? I think it's just so important. So Donnie, do those damn self tapes. Do them. Do them and put them out there and get them on Actors Access, because you never know. I think so many times we spend all this time spinning our wheels. Will this work? Will that work? I don't know. Oh God, what should I say? What should I do? Should I email? Should I not email? Should I do this tape? Should I not do this tape? And we spend all our time living in this chaos in our brains as opposed to just fucking doing it. Just do it and put it out there. And if you submit a clip to an audition and you don't get it, so what? If you submit the clip and get it, fabulous. Fabulous. Donnie says, and this is why I dialed in today and why I love you. Thank you. Good. I'm glad you tuned in. Tony says, it's such a buffet. Toxic coaching can be so heavy. Yes. Love that we learn how to challenge. Yes to all. Right? I think it's so important. It's so important. I have acting coaches that I've challenged, or I'm like, I don't get what you're saying. Explain it to me. Tell it to me in a different way. Right? I always say that. I'm like, I love what you're saying. I'm not getting it. I'm resisting it. Say it to me in a different way. Right? I think it's so important to not just take everything verbatim. Even when your agent says, oh, you need to get this picture, get this shot, do this. Okay, tell me your thought process behind that. I love it. I want to work together. I want us to do this. Just explain to me the thought process so I understand. Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we do that? Okay. Donnie says, yeah, funny thing. That's why I didn't sign up for his classes, but it's still stuck with me. Yeah, for sure. So many times. How many times has that happened to you? I'm sure this has happened to so many people, Donnie, not just you, where a coach says something and it's like, oh, and then you always have that in the back of your head. And it's like a negative thing that's limiting. Let it go. Let it go. Yes, ma'am, preach. Tony says, I just want to add that you work as well, which is also a key ingredient in my opinion. Keep killing it. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think it is really important. And I know Tony's the same way. If you're going to trust someone to guide you in this career, I will say, especially on the business side, I do think it's important to have people who are doing it. Our industry, oh my God, I mean, you guys have seen it. It's changed so fast. What this business was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, it's changed. We're changing so much right now. Like, it's unbelievable. And I feel like if you're not in it to win it every day, if you're not auditioning along, I don't know how coaches are coaching you if they're not auditioning and doing it themselves right now and understanding the trends of the business. I don't understand. Like, I really don't. I feel like they're getting secondhand information or teaching outdated stuff. So I think it's important to know what is working now. It's like when I really started using LinkedIn a year ago, I started talking to you guys about that and going, oh, wow, LinkedIn now. I used to use LinkedIn, then it kind of faded away for actors, and now it's kind of back. And it's such a good tool. So it's like, but if you're not in it, how do you know that? How can you teach it? I don't know. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Let me see. Other questions here? Nope. Okay, let's go here. Let's go. Hi, Gail. All right. I am Eliza Romero. I'm just going to call you Romero. So you correct me. Do you think, as a new actor, it's better to take every role for the credit or to pass on ones that don't fit my brand so I don't get boxed in later? If you're new, get the experience, my friend. Get the experience. And even when, look, I'll get an audition and I go, that's not quite my wheelhouse or my pocket. But I'm an actor. I can bring my wheelhouse and my pocket to this role. I can show them who I am. So I'm going to do this role the way I would do it. You know, my characters always have a little bit more of an edge, not edgy, but just they're strong, they're direct, right? So like this audition, I got it's a supporting role in a feature film, and she's a mom, And like the description is like she's really caring and loves her boys and all of this. Well, I'm just not going to be like, oh, boys, I love you. You're so sweet and kind and lovely. Right. Is that a piece of me? Sure. But I'm also going to bring my Jody stuff. I'm going to bring that to the role. So when clients come to me and go, oh, I turned this down because it didn't fit my brand, I go, that's just lazy. That's lazy. You get to bring your brand to every role. Bring your brand to every role, no matter what it is. Like if I got a role that said like quirky neurotic, for example, you don't look at me and think quirky neurotic, right? I have a quirk to me. I get obsessive. That's my neurotic thing. So again, I would do my version of that. I wouldn't try to be Zoe Deschanel or Kimmy Schmidt, right? The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I'm forgetting her name right now. I wouldn't try to be that because that's what I have in my head for quirky neurotic. I go, okay, how can I do that? How can I bring this? So Romero, I am. Oh, you're gonna have to tell me how to say it. Or just tell me your first name. I wouldn't turn down anything right now. I would focus on understanding self and getting experience and showing the industry who you are. So I wouldn't worry about being boxed in. We can always take the brand and open it and position it. And that's what smart actors do. That's what I teach people to do is we want to get in the door, but then how can we position you to go down a different path if you want to, or open the brand a little bit more, or get people to see you in a different way, especially if you've been doing such just drama. And maybe that's what people are thinking of you as in terms of genre. How then can we position you, tweak the brand, get some new material to open you up to be seen in the comedy realm and what you would book there? So let's not worry about passing on roles right now. Your job is to gain experience and to show the industry who you are, no matter what that description says. Find your way in to that description. Find your way in. Let me know how that resonates. Let me know. Hey, Gail. Let's see. Technique is evergreen. Tony says technique is evergreen. Industry knowledge has an expiration date if you aren't active. That's well said. Let's put that on a t-shirt, Tony. Let's do that. All right, let's go here. Erica, a question. Are there acting schools classes you recommend that, hold on. That recommend and any you don't recommend? Oh, God. See, acting school, it's interesting. Like acting schools, like I have a list of people that I do recommend. And a lot of them are like Karen West, right? Karen West is a working actor and she's a kick-ass coach. She's been my mentor. Kimberly Jensen, she's a working director and an acting coach. So she's in the industry. So I guess it's kind of, even though I know, Tony, you say technique is evergreen, I'm finding that the coaches that I've been drawn to, even as of late for my own acting career, are coaches that are also doing it or in the industry in some capacity, But then, you have BGB Studios, which is great. But even some of that, their teachers are a lot of working actors. What else was I thinking of? Oh my God, now I'm blanking on everybody. Who else was I thinking of? Oh my God, it went away. Like I've been, Christy Faison is a casting director, but man, she has a great eye. After I coached with her for like 2 or 3 times, I booked something and got pinned for something. She just like really helped me like let go of even just a little bit more, which was really great. So, because she has an eye and she's working. Not all casting directors are great coaches. So I'll just say that. But off the top of my head, those are people I recommend. It also depends on the market and where you're at. If you want in person, if you want Zoom, if you want to work on audition technique, do you want to work on scene study? Do you want to work in character development? I mean, there's so many, I would need way more information to help hone in. Right. And I'll say this, one acting teacher is great for one person and another person could take the class and go, this doesn't resonate with me. It's so personal. It's like headshot photographers, right? When someone, the latest, greatest headshot photographer and your friend had a great shoot and you're like, I'm going to go shoot with them. And you're like, I didn't have a great shoot. It's because it's who you resonate with, right? And if they get you and what you're looking for at that time. So I think it's so important to ask. So Erica, I really appreciate you asking. I would post in our course community in Mighty Networks. So I can post some more stuff there, or let other people say also who they've studied with and what they recommend. And if you want to get more specific with me about what you're looking for, rogue hair, I can help you with that as well. But I think it's yeah, it's so important to find someone that's going to challenge you, but not be toxic. Oh, so many of my clients have horror stories of acting teachers just ripping them apart, you know? I mean, that was my experience in college. I had an acting teacher. She's now passed. She was Stella Adler's right-hand woman. She'd been in the business long. She was old when I was studying with her, and she would smoke in class, you guys. She would smoke in class. The ashes would fall on her lap. And she would say things like, not to me, but I remember a classmate of mine. She's like, "You think your Southern daddy's gonna get you a acting career? You think your money's gonna get you an acting career?" She would just like rip people apart. Like my second year at Stella Adler at NYU, we had 40 people in my section, my class. The third year, I stayed for the third year. We had 10. That's how many people dropped off because they felt toxic. I was glad I stayed. The third year, I felt like they actually put you back together. They kind of ripped you apart and put you back together. But that's not how things should be done. Like, and at the time, it was like, oh, okay, my little, 20-year-old whatever self was like, I guess this is what acting is. And now I'm like, no, I don't have time for you to rip me apart. I don't have time for that. So anyway, I digress. Let's see. Donnie, such great advice of bringing ourselves to it. I totally need some more English is my first language stuff. LOL, literally embarrassing if they try to improv in Spanish with me, but I can memorize. Kimberly Jensen, yes, author of Acting with Impact. Yes, Kimberly, she was actually a sponsor on my summit. I asked her to sponsor my summit, and her new book is being released now. She has a lot of free stuff. Go on her website, get a vibe. Her tools are really great. I was in her acting class for a bit at the top of the year, then switched to some privates. But I just remember even being in class with her, and there's this one tool she gave me to do in the scene, and I was like, oh shit, this changed everything of like tapping into emotion immediately. It was super, super cool. Anyway, yes, that's Kimberly. Emmanuel. All right, Emmanuel comes to every coaching and coffee hour. So first of all, Emmanuel, kudos to you, my friend. And he always brings the deepest questions. He challenges me to use my brain power on every level. What do you got for me today, Emmanuel? Let me read it. Just came to say hi. Emmanuel, I set you up for the big question. He came to say hi. I don't have anything to ask today. I've ran out of thought-provoking questions. I guess I should have read that before I set you up. That's hysterical. Well, Emmanuel, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we've run out of questions. I'm not glad. I'm sure you will have more on the next session. That tickled me to my core. Okay, I love it. All right, let me see. Erica, she's in Orange County, willing to do Zooms. Okay, great. Yeah, Erica, let me know if you have a follow-up question from them. Let's see. Just making sure I have everything. Erica said gold. Okay, cool. Let me go. Ooh, sounds are happening. Let me stop the sounds. Okay, Amanda. Yes, I got shredded in England and then built back up. It is so incredibly hard when you're going through it, but worth at the tail end. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But also, I think when I went to NYU, I was like the star of my drama club and felt like, oh, I can do this. This is easy, right? So it was really interesting to get like, no, there's lots of talented people, Jody. There's a lot of talented people. So let's dig deeper here. Anyway, okay, great. Let me go back here. Erica has another question. All right. Oh, let me just say, what time is it? 10:45. Sorry, I have so many notifications popping up on my phone. All right, 1 second. I need a sip of tea. So I'll just say, I'm going to be on here for another 15 minutes. And again, for those of you who are tuning in live, I just did a birthday sale. It's done. It ended at 9 a.m. this morning. It was a 48-hour birthday sale because my birthday's tomorrow. And it was 50% off any program of mine. Any program. My coaching sold out within like 6 hours. I only was giving 10 away of each. My actor's branding system sold out. A lot of other things got close to selling out. But for those of you who are tuning in live with me right now, who are watching this, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram or in Actors Workspace, my Facebook group, if you want to get 50% off any of my programs, coaching, whatever you want, the Actors Branding System, we're talking about that. You can get 50% off a year in the Actors Think Tank. Email my assistant, Sophia, at support@actor-insider.com. So if you email her before 11 a.m., you can get whatever you want. You can get whatever you want at 50% off. Okay, so let me just say hi to Lauren and Shanti, is that how I say it? And Eric. All right, let me go to Eric's question. What are your thoughts about breaking up each different take? What? Wait, hold on. What are your thoughts about breaking up each different take by take 1, take 2? 2-second gap between each clip. Yes or no? Okay, so when I just did a bunch of auditions last week, every single one of them wanted the take on a separate clip. So it would be Jodie Bentley, Meredith, take 1, Jodie Bentley, Meredith, take 2. So it was labeled that way, and each take was a separate clip. Kind of helps casting be able to go, oh, I want this one to send off to producers. Unless it's asked for it to be all in one clip. Yeah, I just do a fade to black, fade back up, and it's the next clip, the next take rather. So for that, it's if it's an audition, it's just following the audition instructions. Now, if you're referring back to your question, as I'm talking this out, of doing a self tape, I would still, if you're going to be, did you ask me that? Yes, if you're recording self tapes, you would just have both your self tapes separate. During the pandemic, the self-tape reel became a thing, and I was helping clients really build their self-tape reel, and then that stopped. No one wants your self-tape reel. They just want like under a minute clip of a self-tape if you're going to submit that. So I wouldn't put 2 of those together, but I would always follow the instructions on whatever audition that you're doing. If there's a different question, Erica, that I'm missing, let me know. Let me know. It's support@actor- put a little dash in there, insider, not pluralized.com. Oh, Erica got you. Erica got you. Perfect. All right. What else? What else do we have? Emmanuel, I'm still waiting for that question. Something's got to be percolating. Something. All right, team. Oh my God. So many things coming through. All right. What else? What else is going on? What else? What other questions can I? Oh, there's something on. Oh my God, I missed YouTube. Katie, I missed your question. Recently, I've been dealing with those pesky anxiety spirals. Yeah. I'll get started with something and then boom, anxiety hits. I freeze up and I don't do anything. Any advice to get out of that? CBD does help, but it could be 15 to 16 minutes before I pull myself out to get back to work. Yeah, anxiety spirals. Katie, so what's happening? I mean, I know we've talked about anxiety together before, but that's interesting that it's coming on so strongly for you now. I'm really glad that CBD helps. I think it's so important to find what can support us. Yeah. Have you tried okay, so I know if I'm at my computer, if I'm trying to work here or do something, and I get overwhelmed and something happens, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Blah, 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 blah. I have to get up and go away. So, and you might be doing this already, but if I'm in the middle of something and it overwhelmed, like, how am I going to accomplish all this? Like I literally had 5 auditions in like 4 days last week, plus everything else I was doing for my coaching business and everything. I was like, what is happening? And planning for my trip and all the things. If I get overwhelmed, I just have to I need to stand up, right? You need to shift the neural programming in the moment. Because if we stay in it, if we stay in the same space and we think it's going to change, it's not going to happen. So I need to like go downstairs. I need to like get up. I'll go downstairs. I was like, hey, maybe I can walk the dog now. Maybe I'll make myself a coffee if it's in the afternoon. I always have coffee in the afternoon. I'll have a coffee in the afternoon. Or I just say to my husband, hey, I just need to chat something out right now. Right. Or I can text a friend, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Right. It's like it's getting out of your head and into your body. Right. So there's, we talk about, Katie, we talked about dance parties before. I talked about dance parties with people, right? Sometimes if you're getting in your head, we just got to get in your body, right? Because when your mind starts taking over and you start believing everything your mind says, when your mind is a freaking liar, that's when we really spiral. But I get it, Katie. Anxiety it feels like an overwhelm on the body, So it's like, how do we get that out? So I would focus on movement. I would focus on walking. I would focus on a dance party. I would look into EFT tapping. Do you know tapping? Tapping on the meridians. That works to get me out of things. If I'm spiraling down, I'll do an EFT tapping. I like there's a different ways to do it. Dana Middleton is who I love. I've done a couple of her tapping boot camps. She has stuff specifically for actors and artists. She has a lot of free stuff on her YouTube channel. It's called The Aligned Artist. The Aligned Artist. So I would go look at her, but the tapping things in 10 minutes, I can be shifted. Dana calls it bathroom tapping. She's like, if you're out at an event or you get overwhelmed or anxiety kicks in, she's like, go to the bathroom and do your tapping, and it can shift you within like 5 to 10 minutes. So I would try that. I think it's just so important for everyone to find what supports you. I used to think for the longest time that it's like, and this was from my upbringing, right? That I just had to be perfect all the time, right? That I couldn't have negative thoughts, that I couldn't have anxiety, that I couldn't do that. And if anxiety creeped in or doubt creeped in or anything, I would just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And man, is that stressful. Then I finally realized, like, no, I get to, of course, those things are normal. Anxiety as an actor is normal. Self-doubt as an actor is normal. Overwhelm as a human is normal, right? So I think it's about finding whatever modalities that support you. So I love that you're doing that. You found CBD. I think we had a whole conversation about CBT, CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBD. So we're having a conversation about both of those on Instagram. Whatever, it's whatever works. Katie says, honestly, no idea why they started again. It's pissing me off. So yeah, if it's starting again, Katie, I mean, look, there's lots of times we think, I've managed this. Why is it back? And it could be back because you leveled up. It could be back because self-doubt has creeped in. Something happened, something triggered in the back of your brain. There's multiple reasons why things come back. And it just means you need to process it at a deeper level now. That's all. And that, again, that is normal. It is 1,000% normal. So don't go into self beat up mode about why is this shit back again. It's back because it's back, and you get to go deeper. That's all. How fun. It's just called life. So you probably could do more walks. My apartment is very dark, which is usually good for someone who doesn't have a great relationship with the sun. Katie, look, I put sunscreen. I have like 50 sunscreen on over my whole body right now. We do need sunshine on our eyeballs. We definitely need sunshine on our eyeballs. So it could be that that darkness isn't helpful. It could be that you just need to put on a big damn hat and some sunscreen on your face, and just get out of the, even just stand. Sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I just go on my patio and I just stand in the sun for 2 minutes, right? Just to feel the sun on my body. And it's amazing how that shifts, right? A breathing technique, something. Again, I think if CBD is working, that's great, but I really invite you to find some other modalities that could probably shift you faster. And so that way, when you are at the Emmys party that you're at and you start to feel anxiety, you know what to do. You can go in the bathroom and do some box breathing. You can go in the bathroom and do your tapping, right? You can just go outside for a second and look up at the sun, or just walk around the room because you know like what to do to get yourself back in your body. So I would play around with that kind of stuff. And let me know what happens. Oh my God, there's been so much conversation going on here on Instagram. Let me see. Erica says, I used to have strong anxiety and still have anxiety. And I do the question long of myself. I feel sad. Oh, I do the questions. Do I feel sad? I feel scared. Why? Yes, exactly. And yeah, Katie, that's sort of what we talk about. One of the exercises in my Dare to Be Unstoppable program, which I know that you're a part of, is going, I'm feeling this way. What's underneath that? Why? What's underneath that? What's underneath that? What's underneath that? And when sometimes we get to the core of it, we can release it, right? So all the other stuff is shit that we make up. I love that. Let's see, Romero. I auditioned with a scene that made sense, but once I got the full script after already being offered the role, I saw it had sexual intimacy I'm not comfortable with. Do you think I should still take it for the experience or wait for something that fits better? Okay. So this is a different thing. If they were not upfront with you in that breakdown and in that audition about the sexual intimacy in this for this role that is required, that is not good, and that is not on you. That is on producers or casting, whatever that was. It really gets to be spelled out in breakdowns. So if I were you, if you got offered the role, I would have a conversation first and go, hey, I just read the script. This, whatever, however you want to describe it, was not mentioned in the breakdown. It does make me uncomfortable. Can you explain to me if there's going to be an intimacy coordinator, and how we can handle these scenes, or if we can handle them differently? I would have that conversation with production first before turning it down. Because they could be open to switching it, changing it. They might have an intimacy coordinator. Maybe you talk to the intimacy coordinator about everything. But I know the intimacy coordinators, why is that so hard to say? Intimacy coordinators really help navigate a lot of that stuff. I was just speaking at the Southwest Actors Conference, and there was a lovely intimacy coordinator. I can't think of her name right now. And it was just so great to hear how they work. She did it in action, had people up there doing a scene, and it was really lovely. So, but again, if they didn't mention it, they might not have someone on board. If it's a non-union film, they might not have someone on board. But I would definitely have that conversation with production and stand up for yourself, stand up for your comfortability level, stand up for your values, and stand up for what you require. And if at the end of the day, they're like, nope, no intimacy coordinator, nope, we're not budging, this is what the role is, then you get to decide from your value system if that role makes sense for you. That's not a branding thing anymore. That's not a branding thing anymore. That's a value system. I tell clients all the time, you get to have conversations with your team. Like if you're not comfortable with sexual intimacy or gratuitous sex, then you probably don't want to be submitted for a lot of the stuff on HBO, right? It was always when I'd watch Game of Thrones and it was like women simulating sex in the background, and I was just like, Mom, I'm on TV. Like I could never do that. That's not me, right? That goes against what I value. But other people don't care. So it's so important to understand your value system to make these decisions, to also be able to communicate with your team what you are willing to do and not do. But this is definitely not a branding thing. This is you with your values. So I would have that conversation with production. Erica, I think this is in response to Katie. Investigate what you're feeling and where the feelings are coming from. Self-soothe and support yourself as a friend. I love it. Why do I feel this way? Because of this. Why? Anxiety is normal, and uncertainty. Yes, uncertainty is a big part of why anxiety occurs. I love it. Sleep, food, processing feelings instead of self-medicating through retail therapy or escapist habits. Cutting back on shopping and scrolling has helped. Woo! I know. I hardly scroll on the Instagram anymore. I only do it when I pee, and that really makes my life better. Because it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I stopped scrolling at night. Like I'd get in bed and scroll, and I was like, what am I doing? Just cuddle with my husband. It's so crazy. Okay. We have so many questions still, and I have like 1 minute. Okay. Amanda, one question just came to mind, Jody. Of course it did. I knew it. How do you differentiate between an industry mentor who is genuinely invested in an actor's success and a mentor who is frustrated and bitter with the industry and taking it out on their actor clients who are just trying to come up and enter the industry? Ooh, this is like a whole workshop. Tony, do you want to teach this workshop with me? That is such a lovely question and a tough one to answer. How do you discern that? How does that person make you feel? I'm just going to start there. Does that person make you feel motivated, excited, inspired? Do they make you feel like you're living in possibility and opportunity? Or do they make you scared, fearful, nervous, limited? Or do they make you feel expansive? I think it comes down to feeling. You know, as I age in this world, my gut is always right. When I listen to it, it is always right. The older I get, I listen to it more and more and more and more and more. And when I do ignore it, it's always freaking right. So I think we get to I think sometimes when we have like a mentor or someone, we have our little rose colored glasses on and we have our blinders on and we're like, just tell me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. And sometimes we miss the cues. We miss um, the subtext. We miss listening to our guts because our minds want it so bad or our heart wants it so bad, you know? So, Emmanuel, I just would say I think it's really paying attention to how you feel. Like I have some clients who are like, "Oh, I get so scared going to my acting class." Like, you get scared going to acting class? Okay. No. I would see just really focus on how that person makes you feel. Um, because there are a lot of teachers who didn't make it, and that's why they teach. And some of them are really great teachers. And some of them just want to tell you how hard it is. And because and if you say, "Well, I want to try this." "Oh, that didn't work because I tried it. That didn't work." Right? So they just want to prove themselves right as to why they didn't make it, and they use other people to do that. Ugh. So it's really going with our gut. I can't, I don't know how to say it any other way, honestly, at the moment, but it's really listening to your gut, being in tune with what feels right, with what feels right. Like if you showed up here to these calls and I made you feel bad about yourself or like the industry's really challenging and I didn't book in the past 2 months, so you guys aren't gonna book either. Like, you'd probably feel pretty shitty and not wanna listen to me. But sometimes we just I don't know what it is, we latch on to people and think that they're the end all be all, even though everything that they spew is negative. It's crazy. Um, go with your gut, Emmanuel, that's what I would say. All right. Oh my god, you guys. Let's see. Okay, there's that. Okay, let me see what else. Let me answer one more. Do. These are heavy subjects. Yes, Mitchell. And take a willingness to go on a journey of self-discovery as to how you tick as a person. 1,000%. That's so much of what I teach is really understanding who you are. Because when you understand who you are, you know how to talk about it. You know how to navigate this industry with more ease. You understand yourself and the roles you want to play. So that way, when all this stuff comes at you, because it's going to, you go, cool, got it. But this is what I want. And that's challenging. That's why we see so many of these young actors who made it really young. It's like they're bombarded with all this stuff, so they're trying to please and trying to please and trying to please, and then they start to rebel later in life because they never had the time, I think, to really understand self and who they were. They were just trying to be what everybody wanted them to be. So of course they're rebelling. Of course they are. That's a whole other conversation about how to deal with, I think, children and young people in this industry and how to help them with mental health. That's a whole other conversation. Okay. Let's see. Erica, I heard you can negotiate with intimacy coordinators if you're not comfortable. Yes, of course you can. Of course you can. So that's why I think it's important to understand if there's an intimacy coordinator on board and wondering if you can speak to them even before you take the role of how they're going to work. Yes. So for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right, everybody. I must go. My friends are on their way from LAX coming into town to celebrate my birthday, which is tomorrow. Oh, aging. Isn't it fun? It is, and it's not, and it is. Just like everything, right? Well, thank you all for tuning in today. I'll give you like 2 more minutes if you want to email Sophia at support@actor-insider.com. If you were here live today, let her know you were live. You can get 50% off any of my products. I know the sale ended this morning at 9, but I will extend it to any of you here if you want to take advantage of that. Thank you all for your birthday wishes. Okay, Erica, I'm glad you reached out. So good to see you all. I will see you in a couple weeks. Have a great, great weekend. All right, bye. Bye, YouTube. Let me end there. Bye, Instagram.